What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 16 Millionaire Maker.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
Okay guys, this is for the Millionaire Maker slate, which is the Sunday main slate at 1 p.m. Oh, and stick around to the very end of this video. After I show you all my picks in the Draft Dashboard tools, I'll show you these players in DraftKings and in FanDuel, the Millionaire Maker slates. There'll be 2 spots open that you have to fill in, but you'll have a great Millionaire Maker core. Okay guys, NFL Week 16. Let's take a look at the quarterback position. So my Millionaire Maker quarterback is Geno Smith from the Seattle Seahawks, playing the Kansas City Chiefs, who have the 9th worst defense overall, and they give up the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Geno Smith has averaged 20.4 fantasy points per game on the season. He gets an average of 4 rush attempts per game. Going to be about 6% owned, projected at 18.5 fantasy points here in Week 16. He's 5,800 DraftKings salary, 1,800 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 48.5 points scored in this game, with the Seahawks trailing by 9.5. So you got a high-scoring game in what should be a passing game script. And Geno Smith has scored 15, 23, and 28 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He got 1, 3, and 2 rush attempts in those games. And it's a fantastic matchup. All the stars align for Geno Smith in DFS this week. So I like Geno Smith here versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. So my Millionaire Maker running back, I'm going to save some salary with this pick, and I'm going to run a player back from that Kansas City-Seattle game. So if I think Geno Smith is going to have a good game in this high-scoring game, the player on the other side that I think is going to score a lot of fantasy points is Isaiah Pacheco from the Kansas City Chiefs, playing the Seattle Seahawks, who have the 5th worst defense overall, and they give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Isaiah Pacheco has scored 10, 12, and 16 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 15, 13, and 14 rush attempts on top of 1, 3, and 2 pass targets. Now he's going to be about 9% owned, projected at 10.7 fantasy points here in Week 16. I actually think he can score 15 fantasy points or more in this one. He's only 5,700 DraftKings salary. We know Vegas thinks there's going to be 48.5 points scored in this game, with the Kansas City Chiefs favored by 9.5. So it's a great matchup for Isaiah Pacheco. Now, the other thing you could do here is you could absolutely just substitute Isaiah Pacheco for Jerick McKinnon, who's only 200 more on DraftKings, but it looks like he is maybe 600 more on FanDuel. So Jerick McKinnon has scored 34, 35, and 14 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 10, 6, and 8 rush attempts on top of 8, 9, and 2 pass targets. So 17 pass targets for Jerick McKinnon in the last 2 weeks. So I think you could go with either one of these running backs from the Kansas City Chiefs as your Millionaire Maker running back. Up to you which one you go with. So I like Jerick McKinnon or Isaiah Pacheco here versus the Seattle Seahawks.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy?
And we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video.
So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. So I'm just going to go ahead and stack this game, stack on a wide receiver here with Geno Smith. So my Millionaire Maker wide receiver is DK Metcalf from the Seattle Seahawks, playing the Kansas City Chiefs, who have the 9th worst defense overall. They give up the 6th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. DK Metcalf has averaged 15.1 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 8.5 pass targets per game. He's been on the field for 81% of the snaps, going to be about 13% owned, projected at 15.8 fantasy points here in week 16. He's $7,100 DraftKings salary, $900 more on FanDuel. So we know Vegas thinks there's going to be 48.5 points scored in this game, with the Seahawks trailing by 9.5. So it's a good passing game script here. DK Metcalf has scored 13, 18, and 30 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 9, 10, and 8 pass targets. So plenty of volume. His production has been pretty good as well, and it's a good matchup. And also, it looks like Tyler Lockett is questionable. He did not practice on Tuesday, so that could pave the way for DK Metcalf to be a target monster here in week 16. So I like DK Metcalf here versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL. NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, moving on to the tight end position. This is a tough pick here. You definitely could go with a guy like TJ Hawkinson, but I'm going to save a little bit of salary here at this position and go with the hot hand. So I like Dawson Knox, or my Millionaire Maker tight end is Dawson Knox from the Buffalo Bills, playing the Chicago Bears, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they've been pretty good versus opposing tight ends. Dawson Knox has averaged 8.7 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 4.5 pass targets per game. He's been on the field for 82% of the snaps, only going to be about 4% owned, projected at 8.2 fantasy points here in week 16. He's $4,100 DraftKings salary, $1,600 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 40.5 points scored in this game, with the Bills favored by 9.5. Now, Dawson Knox has scored 22 and 14 fantasy points in the last 2 games off of 8 and 7 pass targets, so 15 targets in the last 2 games. I'm going to see if that trend continues. Go with a lower salary tight end at the lower ownership. See if he can put up 15 plus fantasy points here again this week. So I like Dawson Knox here versus the Chicago Bears.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite
Player for this NFL slate.
I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again and good luck. You've unlocked the bonus content.
Okay guys, here we are in the DraftKings lineup optimizer. Over here on Draft Dashboard, we have our Millionaire Maker core locked in here, and we've generated a lineup. So let's see who we got. We got Geno Smith, Isaiah Pacheco, Saquon Barkley, DK Metcalf, Adam Thielen, Amari Cooper, Dawson Knox, Jacoby Myers, and the Ravens defense. I absolutely love this lineup. The only questionable play here is the flex play, Jacoby Myers at 4,800. I do think that's a good play. He came back last week, played about 60% of the snaps, so I'm expecting him to play a little bit more here this week. You could also go with a guy like Tyler Boyd from the Cincinnati Bengals. You could also go with TJ Hawkinson from the Minnesota Vikings. So there's some other options here. You could go Drake London versus Atlanta, but we're playing the Baltimore defense, so we don't want to do that. Chris Moore from the Houston Texans. Let's take a look at that. He played 87% of the snaps last week. I think there's some injuries there at the wide receiver position, giving Chris Moore a pretty good opportunity. So let's go ahead and plug in Chris Moore. I like that a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to save this lineup so I can optimize it later if anything changes. Okay, now here we are in the FanDuel lineup optimizer. Over here on Draft Dashboard, we have our Millionaire Maker core locked in here, and we've generated a lineup. So let's see who we got. We got Geno Smith, Isaiah Pacheco, Alvin Kamara, DJ Chark, DK Metcalf, Devonta Smith, Dawson Knox, David Montgomery, and the Bengals defense. So this is a solid lineup. So I'm going to save this lineup so I can optimize it later if anything changes.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again and good luck.